about in the stream, and then I have to listen to everything on fucking repeat because you talk a million miles an hour before we start the goddamn stream, and now we have to fucking repeat everything because we started the stream. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, welcome everybody to the late night talks Christmas stream, which I originally wasn't going to do, but PB wanted to do it, so we're doing it.
I never asked for this stream. That is a half lie.
yeah, it's.
I mean, you can go ahead. You could tell the story. You could tell the story. I'm okay with that. Everybody likes little. We got how many people watching right now? You got a handful of people watching, so we can tell them a little story before everybody gets in here and we get on to the main topic, which the story leads into, coincidentally.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I was talking with PB. I was like, Merry Christmas. He's like, are you planning on doing a stream? I go, probably not, because I haven't been feeling well. Really nothing prepared. I did the whole work and went to see Mother Zod. And so during the conversation, I said, hey, did you see the new Hawkeye yet? And he was like, fuck yeah, I saw that. But I could tell by his text, the way it was structured, that he wanted to have
literally says literally I'm reading it off of my phone right now. He said, did you watch Hawkeye? Not even a question mark, just did you watch Hawkeye? Hawkeye is 2 words, by the way. I was like, come on, I gotta get it together. Anyway, I said, fuck yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was very enthusiastic. And then I
oh my god.
I deduced from that, when you put it together of were we doing a stream, that you not only wanted a stream, but you wanted us to talk about Hawkeye, because I mean, technically it isn't Christmas, but we'll still count it because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's the
still
weekend.
Christmas in Los Angeles. Is Carmen here? I can't see who's in the chat. I'm not looking at that yet.
We have blinked out. Oh, there we go. I'm back. We have Janie Davis.
What's up, Janie?
So yeah.
Did you just? Yeah, there's one person. What? That's not right.
No, there's 4
Queen,
people.
Angus. Oh, I only heard you say Janie. My bad.
Yeah, and then so tonight I wanted to talk about this, but before we get into it, did you see my video I posted before this?
Absolutely, I did not.
Hey, Merry Christmas, GP. And
What's up,
yes,
GP?
I'm working on that unboxing.
God, dude, that is ridiculous. That's the title of your fucking video, because I was considering, and I'm a super procrastinator, so I'll probably get it out next year, because you can only really release Christmas videos one time a year, and I didn't make it. I was going to title a video, and instead of FN, it was going to be EFFIN, and it was going to say the exact same fucking thing.
Okay, great minds.
Amazing.
But yeah, so in my video, I talked about critiquing. And I wanted to get your opinion on this because me, I went on my own little tangent about it, but I wanted to get your feelings. Hello, KH.
What's up, Karen?
Good to see you. But I talked about reviewing, and I guess I was kind of in that moment feeling the spirit of Christmas. Plus, I've been seeing a ton of hate. But what really grinded my gears today was
Peter.
was that I watched a review, and it was called The Woke. They played Matrix, but they put woke in the middle of Matrix, so it's wokeage or something like that. And they went into their review on how the new Matrix is woke. And their points were fucking stupid. because I watched the movie
No
twice.
way.
Yeah, and so it got me to thinking about how all of these polar opposite channels of us, either for shilling the shit out of a shitty movie or for hating the movie just because someone happens to say something that could be perceived as agenda driven, is really fucking up people like us who are in the middle and just saying, "Hey, a movie sucks." So, what are your feelings about reviews these days, and where do you fall on that whole thing? Do you think there's too many people throwing out this whole
I think
fucking
absolutely. There's too many people going out there and implying something so that they can, what do I want to say, stick exactly in their lane with almost every single topic, which is quite amazing to be able to, I know, did you ever stream with I Hate Everything? I know that he was hanging out with what Sif and those guys for a while. Did you freeze?
I froze for a second, yes.
Holy fuck! I was like, what happened? Just
I was
staring
so
into
taken.
nothing.
No, I have not, but why? What happened? This sounds interesting.
No, like that's the whole point of his channel is he hates everything. That's the name of the channel. That's the whole point. So I understand something
Oh,
like that. But when you're supposed to just be essentially unbiased and review everything essentially down the middle. How many more times can I say essentially? I guess we'll find out. Not the point. The point is I need more reasons than feelings. Like you can definitely throw some of your feelings in there to help with your perspective, but there's no way that everything fits into the category the way you want it to. Because out of a 2 hour, 29-minute movie, if you go, well, there was this scene, this scene, this scene, and I go, that adds up to 3 minutes of screen time total. And that's from the start of the scene to the end of the scene. It was only like 2, 3 lines in the whole thing. Is something that's you're picking out, and you're telling me that the movie's fucking woke? What about the rest of the movie and taking everything on balance? Like you can put those points out there, but then be like, yeah, and then we went to where Hawkeye was whooping ass. I'll be like, exactly, that's what I'm talking about. You thought that was woke? No, you didn't fucking think that was woke, did you?
yeah. Sorry, my internet connection is acting fucking weird tonight.
That.
JD
Sorry.
Davis says, I think reviews are I think reviews are becoming more about the reviewers than it is about the movies, but I don't mind that. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of it is ego and uh
I would
them
see. I would disagree with her. Go ahead.
uh I think it is becoming I do agree with that point because when you look at who's reviewing and she does make an
No, she
excellent
said that it doesn't
point
bother
that.
her. I agree with her
Oh,
premise. It bothers me.
and that follows up that facts versus feelings is the
I didn't say facts versus feelings. It needs to be facts
argument.
based. Oh my god, you guys hear that robot?
That
That is
is very
ridiculous. My god, man. Now he's frozen, Dave.
I was playing Cyberpunk, and since I got done, my whole computer has been fucked up. It like glitched my computer out. So
Jesus
thank you.
Christ. Why are you playing that game?
It's actually really good when it works. But Cube Queen says there's movies that suck, and then there's movies that fucking suck. Mr. Zod's random zone. I agree. Um, yeah, it's now Boxing Day for me too. Okay, that wasn't towards me. Lovely Sherry, how are you? Says a happy merry
Hello,
late.
Sherry.
But yeah,
Merry Christmas.
I
I
wanted to
still
bring
have
it
my
up
hat on.
because we're talking about Hawkeye, and I don't know about you, But hey, Lemon Pie, me personally, I've seen a lot of bullshit reviews on this show. We were just talking about this before we started. There was literally a review talking about how Hawkeye bombed. Where are your fucking numbers?
Right, like if you're gonna use the word bombed, that's gotta be in relation to the actual numbers. Like something that you compare it to. Like, I don't know, any other episode of the same series, any other episode of a show in the MCU. Like, there's so many things to compare it to say whether it bombed or not. It should be super easy to find those numbers to back up your point. But you didn't find shit, did you?
Perp Minded said, did somebody say bullshit reviews? Yeah, Perp, I sent you a link.
Yeah, we
I
said,
personally fucking sent you a link.
yeah,
Come
directly
on.
to the perp box. Is that a thing?
Thank you. Planets Q's Queens agrees, and we're going to get into that. Said the final episode was fucking awesome.
Well,
I agree. Now
she
look,
she forgot her premise that, there's awesome and then there's fucking awesome.
uh,
Nobody can hear you right now, guy.
so
You've totally glitched out again.
lovely
Try
Sherry has a
again.
good point of why she bothered to see a Hawkeye, not a fan of. I did not bother to see Hawkeye, not a fan of Haley Steinfeld either.
Me and Perp disagree with you, Sherry. I'm sorry about that. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry
gotta
that we disagree. I'm not sorry that I have my own opinion.
say, but I would like to state that is a valid reason if you don't watch something. Like plenty of people don't watch something because they don't like the actor. Like I can get behind that argument. What I can't get behind is fucking fictitious numbers you pull out of your ass when Disney Plus don't release the fucking numbers. So we don't even have anything comparatively from one show to another. So, how do you make a declarative statement saying something bombed where you have no factual numbers? Would that statement requires you to have that kind of proof? Like you could say a broad statement like, "Oh, it's woke and agenda driven," because you could pick anything out of it and make your case for that. What you can't pick out of is when you're stating something that needs facts in order to prove your statement. Like it boggles my mind. And there were 5 guys on this panel talking about it, not making fucking sense. And look, I'm not gonna play the whole mystery game. It was on fucking Friday Night Tights with all the fucking clowns over there on the Phantom Menace side of things. And I have to fucking pull this out because these people literally wasted a half hour of me trying to get to a point where they actually fucking proved what numbers they were talking about. Where's your fucking numbers?
Oh, and then they showed you numbers, right? They were like, here's how many people watched this episode, and here's how many people watched this one, right? Isn't that what they did?
No, no. As a matter of fact, let me tell you what happened. I actually went online to where they told me the factual stuff, and they said Hawkeye had the strongest numbers for its season final over any MCU season final. Like, especially when people found out the Kingpin angle, they fucking went nuts, and they had a huge uptick on everyone watching the last show. So your whole fucking premise of your argument, because you just said the season final and not the series as a whole, fucking falls apart. And it was really infuriating. And that's when I made my video talking about my feelings on criticisms now. Uh, there's this really weird place we're at where we have this one whole side against woke, we have this other whole side for woke, and then we have people like us in the fucking middle where we get caught up in this. Oh, well, you guys are clearly this or you're clearly that,
Nah.
but we're in the
I I
middle.
I clearly point out my stance on everything. That's about it. I mean, I try to be as clear as possible. Sometimes I'm a little stuffed up.
Yeah, Planet Q's Queen said the final episode was fucking awesome, better than the first two episodes. That fucking sucked. They sound like fucking pussies. No, it's
No, I don't think any of
see,
the episodes suck.
like here's the thing. It's not a perspective of that. It's very much the thing that people claim to fight against. It's a very corporate feel to a review. Like I've liked shit that people don't like. I actually like Andrew Garfield as a Spider-Man. A lot of people don't like him and
I
consider
do
him
now.
yeah, and I fucking called it. You guys are just bandwagoning. Now everybody's like,
Oh, for sure. I'm on the Garfield bandwagon. That is 100%. I ain't gonna lie
But I
about it.
was driving that motherfucker. I
Yeah,
called
you're driving a truck. I know. Or you're driving a tractor.
it was the first time I'd actually called something early and I felt validated about one of my claims because I've been saying it based on his other performances. I said, look, this is a great actor, just buried in shitty writing. If you give him a good writing team, we'll see good stuff. And I was fucking right. Now everyone's like, oh, Andrew Garfield this, Andrew Garfield that. Where the fuck were you guys during Amazing Spider-Man, huh? Didn't see you pulling good
I was bitching about what
performances.
the fuck they were doing wrong.
But that circles us back around, right? To the whole point of why I'm pissed off about reviewing. Because
Hawkeye didn't do anything wrong.
no,
I
no, it
didn't I
didn't. And
didn't see the wokeness either. In
we'll
fact,
talk about that.
I saw the least amount of wokeness in the final episode compared to the other 5.
And cousin Paulie, how are you? And
What's
thank
up,
you.
cousin?
um, but here's the thing that uh I wanted to lead into because I think it leads into a lot of the Hawkeye review. This episode is very divided, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know how I feel about parts of the final, but then hearing that some shit
Ooh,
was
I want to
cut
talk
out,
about those parts.
yeah, we'll talk about everything. But
We will?
hearing that they did cut out some stuff that was supposed to be in it, it makes sense. And I really do back up the critique that it did feel kind of rushed towards the ending. The beginning of the episode was very pretty good paced and very well set up, but the ending did feel kind of like they were moving from thing to thing to thing. And then when you take into account that this was supposed to be like a 3-hour episode, it makes sense to me now why it does feel a little bit cut off towards the ending. Like there was supposed to be shit there that was not. And I had that feeling, but I couldn't put my finger on it until I saw Emergency Awesomeness video. And he explained that the directors came out and said, yeah, there was some things we just had to cut out due to time constraints. And to be honest, that happens to every fucking television show, like especially season finals. Uh, I can't think of one television show where they go, "Yep, we got everything in, definitely nailed it, good enough." There's like, if you ask any director, there's probably a bunch of things that they wanted to put in, but because of streaming
Robot
or
mode.
television,
Nobody can hear you.
uh, the main part I hate is the fucking musical. Yes, that was a great troll. Good job,
Holy
Kevin.
fucking. Can we start there?
So yeah,
Start
let's
at
get
the
into
end?
this. We're gonna start at the end and go into the beginning. You know, we're gonna be talking about Hawkeye.
I mean,
If you don't
the
want it
end
spoiled,
of the series is the beginning of the series. Like, you end up in the same fucking spot, man. God damn. Anyway, I thought something cool was gonna happen. Like, I swear to God, they're up there singing. I was like, okay, they're gonna keep doing a song, and then we're gonna cut to the crowd, and we're gonna see some other Avenger there, or we're gonna see like what would have been cool to tie first show to last show. They could have put White Vision in the crowd. I mean, he wouldn't look white; he'd look like a regular person, but you'd be like, holy fuck, there he is. He's sitting right there, son of a bitch. But they decided to just continue playing the song, and then it ended. You know what I would have fucking preferred? How about you just give me like 60 seconds Not 60 minutes, just 60 seconds. Just a little sampler of Zemo dancing.
I'd have been fucking happy with that. Dude,
Fuck.
if there's one thing I love about Falcon and Winter Soldier, like one episode, well, there's two. There's the therapy scene with Bucky. That is fucking priceless. And anyone who tells me they didn't get a kick out of that, you're a
It's not.
fucking
At
liar.
least nobody can hear the threat that you've issued because you went robotic
Fucking
before you said
hilarious.
liar.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was my
What
robot voice. Hey,
hold on, I got a question. What happens if you turn the camera off? Does that help at all? We'll see.
yeah, yeah. We'll see. It could be just my video being a dick because my card has been acting crazy. Funny fact: the rumors about Cyberpunk aren't all true, but they're not all false either. It does cause your computer to crash and have fucking issues.
Well, at least there was no cyberpunk in Hawkeye.
No, although Keanu and Hawkeye, come on, that.
Although, to steal a DC phrase, the episode was pretty crash.
So I mean, here's my thing. There's some issues I had, but they're very small, and I don't. It doesn't really.
No, what did you think about that fucking goddamn scene at the end?
Which one?
No, the goddamn musical.
Oh, that was a fucking -1. Don't ever fucking do that shit again. That was the
Oh
world.
my god.
I laughed
So
because
bad.
I was like, these motherfuckers are trolling. Good job, creative team.
You
They
know,
knew
I
we were all gonna watch that end credit scene to try to find something.
fuck
And this
yeah.
so I'm pretty sure, like an asshole, everybody watching it was like, "There's all one. We gotta watch it." And I bet you everybody fucking watched that whole musical too. And they were like,
Of course I
"Ah."
watched the whole fucking musical.
I watched the whole fucking musical too,
You know,
twice.
I may have been able to slightly enjoy it if Scott Lang didn't have a character in the musical.
Oh, that was, dude. The thing I love about that though is the musical. Uh,
I love that it pisses Hawkeye off at the start, but I was hoping that they were going to correct it, and they did not. They were like, we put all this money into making this musical scene with this theater full. You will watch it.
Yeah, I liked the fact that it does incorporate into the story. And that's what I'm talking about. When we were doing, once again getting back to critiquing, right? Everything in this series, and the reason why I like this series so much is because even that stupid fucking musical does have a point to being in there. I'm pretty sure at the ending it's just to troll us, but it does swing back around, right? To, like you said, the first scene where he's sitting in the musical in the first episode, like kind of rolling his eyes, and he has to like walk out. He's like, "This is not what happened," but it's
Ant-Man wasn't
people.
even there.
Yeah, yeah. Ant-Man wasn't even around until what? Age of Ultron? No, he wasn't even in Age of Ultron. He didn't come in until Infinity War.
I mean, if we're talking about Avengers movies, he was in it. He wasn't in until Infinity War, but he was in Civil War.
Yeah, I don't count that as the Avengers because
Avengers 2.5 out
yeah,
of
it's a
4.
loose kind of a thing. But
No, that means it's the midway point, which is perfect for Civil War.
yeah, yeah, that was perfect for that movie. I do agree. Oh, what the fuck? You know what? No. I
You know what else was pretty perfect?
sure.
Did you die again? We can't tell if you're frozen because your camera doesn't freeze because it's off. That's kind of funny.
Oh
You've
no.
you've thawed out.
I thought. Yeah. Yeah, this is actually much better though because um, I'm actually not freezing as much. So it was in fact the camera because Cyberpunk infected my computer. So now when my camera's on, it doesn't want to work.
Fucking Cyberpunk.
I got jacked in.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, I think that that ending fit. The post credit scene fits because it's a nice little nod to the very first episode. And that guy being all into it in the front, who was probably clearly the director of the play. So I get
Is
it.
he is he a director of an episode? Like, is he a person that was supposed to have known?
Maybe I gotta look it up because that would be that would definitely up my enjoyment of that scene because I'd be like, oh, I get what you're doing there. Maybe he was or a writer or something. So
Or what would be the greatest? Because I don't even who did was it Joss Whedon did the first Avengers?
yeah,
It wasn't
and the
Joss
second
Whedon.
Josh Whedon did the first and the second
No, I'm
Avengers.
saying it wasn't Joss Whedon that was the director of the play.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Because
fucking
that would have been
hilarious.
awesome. Because he would have been like, "I'm directing the Avengers."
Again, ha. Um, but no, okay, so let's get to a great ending scene. Before the Kingpin fight, I kind of want to highlight the Kate Bishop Hawkeye arena thing. Dude, seeing all those trick arrows, I think it's kind of a perfect, it felt like a not so important battle, and I like that. Like there was no cosmic stakes. You get what I'm saying? It felt more personal than the world was going to end because the world wasn't going to end if the tracksuit guy fucking won, but it was personal. And I think that's what really sold that battle for me.
But you don't think the world would end if Hawkeye and Kate Bishop got killed?
Fuck no. I don't
Oh,
even think the Avengers rosters notice them if they're not on it. Like,
that's because they're super secret spies.
yeah, I mean, I would love to see a scene like a cut in the Avengers would be like, Hawkeye's in the center and everything else. And then, Thor, someone turns around and goes, who the fuck is this guy? Has he like always been on the team?
He's up in his bird's nest.
Yeah, because that's the thing. And another thing I want to highlight about this series that drove home Clint Barton, if you guys don't know, because there's a lot of jokes on his character, but you guys got to understand the context. Clint Barton is basically a CIA assassin. If people knew who the fuck he was, that's a failure on his part as part of his job, right? Because both him and Natasha Romanoff were spies that killed people in secret. that was their whole thing. So calling
Okay,
them aliens,
okay, that is. I feel like that's the one of the only gripes that we have of the episode, and when we get to the what is it, party scene, I'll bring it up.
DJ Record Hound says it wasn't the world ending for Hawkeye. He was just a mass surgeon uh in Korea. LOL.
Yeah, I know he was. When I looked up Hawkeye, I was like, "Why the fuck are there a bunch of pictures of MASH?" And I was like, "Oh shit."
um Planet Q's Queen says, I want to highlight the fact that Kate took on Elena and was doing a fucking great job of fighting a Black Widow. Yeah, to be fair, I think it's very clear
It's a lot
that,
easier to fight a Black Widow when they're going at 50%.
yeah. Now, here's the thing, and do you think this is out of the realm of possibilities? This is just a feeling I got. Yelena didn't really want to go after her because that wasn't her target. And even just
Right.
fucking talking to her, I think she liked her and was going only, like you said, 50%. I didn't get the feeling she was going for her because
Oh, you don't have to worry about whether or not you feel that she liked her. She said it in the previous episode. She said, "I like you, Kate Bishop.
So I like you, Kate Bishop.
You're funny. You kill me." Huh?
And I gotta highlight something. That scene where they're fighting in the building and she's complimenting the shit she used in the environment to pick up. I don't know. That's the kind of MCU humor I like. I'll be honest. I chuckled both times I watched it. I just thought, can we just give it to Florence Pugh? She is fucking great in this role. I would totally accept her as a replacement for Scarlett Joe. What do you think?
10 out of 9.
Yeah. I think see, Scarlett Johansson had a natural charisma. I don't know what it is about her besides she's hot. So don't go there, people. I know you're gonna be like, oh, she's hot. No, she's very likable. She's always got a smile. Don't roast me in the chat. I know. Come on, smile. I get it.
I feel like
That
only Tony Stark cracks more jokes.
yes. But my whole thing is that Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, had a natural charisma and a way to persuade people. She was just very likable from the onset. And I think the banter, because I love Captain America, between her and Cap was what really endeared me to her. But Florence Pugh's Yelena is just really fucking cool. Like I can picture an Avenger that I would want to hang out at a bar with and talk to. She's got that kind of vibe. She's
Yeah,
very
she's
fun going.
super hot.
And yeah, she's also hot too. But I mean, the thing I mean, she's easy on the eyes, but I think the other thing about her character too is she carries over a lot of that charisma. And that's what we're saying. Like, you can have female characters, but for fuck's sake, make them likable.
It's not very, I mean, I shouldn't say created. They created one in the show and expanded on another.
Okay. I just got to use the
Um,
bathroom for I just got to use the bathroom for a second. While you're waiting for me to return, tell the good folks what your favorite ending scene was and why. I'll be right back.
I don't know what the fuck he means by my favorite ending scene and why. Like there's one ending scene to the show when they're sitting there talking about what they're going to call her character, which I thought was a spectacular scene. But what I don't think is spectacular is I have a question about the goddamn scene and the dick bag who is always going on and on and on and on about source material decides now to set me up for an area where I need to ask him a question about the scene that I like, and he's not here to. Oh, he's back now.
So, yes, what were you going to ask?
Where they're talking to each other to decide what they're going to call Lady Hawk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't
that's the last scene of the show, isn't it? You said,
Yes,
"What's
and
my favorite final scene?" I was like, "There's only one final scene. Like, how can you have more? What do you mean? What's my favorite final scene?"
like let me narrow it down. What's your favorite fight in the final?
Oh, my favorite fight?
Yeah, tough one. See, asking the hard hitting questions tonight.
Um, Probably Clint versus Tree.
Oh yeah. I'm
There's
gonna
an
give
owl
that
in
one,
there. That owl was so goddamn cute, man.
dude. I gotta say, okay.
And now he's gonna eat tiny little humans. Oh my god.
I gotta say, you know how I feel about MCU humor, but I feel like this episode had a decent balance. there were the most of the jokes, I'd say 90% of them really did land for me, especially with the owl and the setup. And I'll be honest with you, I did not fucking see that coming. When they shrunk
Fuck
the
no.
truck, I was
Well, now what do we do with them? Well, there's that.
like I was like, oh, they're definitely dead. Like that
Oh, but
that's
it's gonna be nice and it's gonna be nice and terrifying on the way,
I
dude.
mean,
At
but
that point, it's like getting killed by Godzilla.
and I mean, the other thing about that too is that if I remember correctly, that does wear off after a while. So like what if the owl picked them up and just took them in its little nesting place and then the fucking truck turns big?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they were permanent or temporary. I feel like they were permanent.
Yeah, because there was a thing where he was like, because he did make that offhanded comment, like, I don't know how we're gonna fix
I guess I
it.
gotta talk to Scott.
Yeah, yeah. Planet Q's Queen said they can't use the name Lady Hawk. Her name can be Lady Eagle.
Okay, that's my question, guys. So they're having that conversation, which I love those kinds of conversations between them. They kind of remind me of when Sam and Bucky are doing therapy, right?
Yep.
Anyway, what is the answer when he said, I have an idea, and then he's going to spit out her name? What's her name in the comic?
Kate Bischoff.
She doesn't have a
No,
superhero. What?
no, she doesn't have a superhero name. Not that I'm aware of. Let me look it up to see if she took any Ellis's because Kate Bischoff's run wasn't my particular favorite. But when
Bishop.
I was reading, or Bishop, when I was reading her comics, she was just going by Kate Bishop. I don't remember for the life of me what her code name was. Let me see. I'll look it up and see if I can find her designated code name. Uh, yeah, she was going. That's really weird. They have it under Hawkeye. Oh, holy shit.
Holy shit is right.
I can't believe it. Noticeable aliases. So this is straight from the source material, people. Uh Hawkeye, Hawkette, Lady Hawk, and Lady Hawkeye.
I like Hawkette. That's hilarious.
Yeah, they made that reference in the show. That makes that even funnier. Wow.
Interesting. Nope, hate all those. They're trash.
So
Oh, Clint Barton, you jokester. I love it.
the reason
He,
the movie
he's a
called
great partner.
the reason their movie there is a movie called Lady Hawk because then Disney would have to get permission from them. No, Marvel supersedes that. They have the copyrights for the characters since the fucking 80s. So I don't think that it would be like something they'd have a legal battle over that. But I like Hawkette much better. I would be totally fine with that. Hawkeye
I
and
mean, at
Hawkeye.
least, yeah, like, you're Hawkette. I mean, it's not exactly the same because Robin is a sidekick, whereas Hawkeye is not a sidekick. But as soon as Hawkeye is gone, then Hawkette can become Hawkeye. I don't have a problem with these things.
No, no, and I wanted to
It
ask.
just needs to play out.
No, there. Oh, sexy hawk. I like that, Janie Davis. I like that a lot.
She oh my oh, she's right about that.
Now, let me.
Sorry, I had a moment there where I was like, she's
Ugh.
even hot with the cuts.
So let me ask you a question because you know how I pointed up fight scenes, and I said this about Batwoman,
Ooh,
and I didn't
Batman.
feel this way in this show, but it's a good comparison. Um, there's been a lot of people that have said it's bullshit the way she's so skilled at fighting. Now, I instructed martial arts, and she has martial arts training. As a matter of fact, the character's backstory is she's a black belt in that she's also good at fencing and archery. Now, do you feel throughout the whole show, the whole run of the show, so that's taken into account all 6 episodes, do you feel like she was unrealistically fighting these people off, or that you had a sense that she was overpowered at any point? Because this was another great point brought up in that Friday night's tight stream.
She's not as good at anything as anybody else in the show. There's always somebody better than her at something that she is trying to do. Hawkeye's a better shot. Yelena is a better spy. And Kingpin is a bigger badass. So where's she coming out ahead?
Mega
Oh,
Jenny One says,
I figured it out. I figured it out. She is in this show the best dog walker.
"Oh yeah. Definitely Mary Sue material right there." Um, It's super chat from Mega Jenny One says, "Merry Christmas, everyone. I saw Spider-Man like I said I would. It was a great movie, the ultimate Spider-Man film." And Mega Jenny One, no one's going to disagree with you with that excellent statement. Welcome. We're talking about Hawkeye tonight because, enough said about Spider-Man. It speaks for itself.
Yeah,
You know, here's a funny thing because we've been talking about critiquing, right? Isn't it kind of funny when one movie does come along that just seems to universally unite two warring parties? I find that interesting in this sort of uh, let's not mince words, culture war we've been having, right? There's always that one movie that seems to unify both sides. I'm going to say it's Spider-Man because I've seen people attack people when you bring out even one critique, and this is on both sides of the aisle. Like, fuck you, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, man. And I do agree with Perp on one thing, NLB and the
here we
black
go.
people. I agree with them on one thing. Do we
Going
have
woke.
blinders? Uh, yeah, we do. But
Spider-Man?
yeah,
No, the middle trilogy sucked so bad it became a, what is that called? A duology? I don't fucking know.
and let's be real though, I like Spider-Man Far From Home.
Love
I
it.
love,
Great movie.
yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. I refuse to believe they killed him. I honestly don't think he's dead because he was so fucking good.
He's a
Marvel,
mystery.
you're in it. Yeah, you guys are fucking idiots if you killed off Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't think he's dead. I did
I
not
don't know.
see them carrying him in the ambulance.
Did Feige lie to us about that? Yep.
Does he ever
Like,
not lie?
no, I'm saying, has he come out and told the lie that, yeah, he's dead?
No, he has not said anything about that movie.
Okay, well, then he's definitely alive, just like the fucking Kingpin.
There's even talks that Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger is alive, and he most certainly
Like, really? I try to circle it back to Hawkeye, and you're like, I fucking hate Black Panther.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Hawkeye. Um, so Hawkeye. We're starting at the ending first, so we both agree the ice skate rank. Now, you can't mention the ending of this without bringing up my personal favorite scene and 100% bias. Kingpin. What did you think? Having not seen the Netflix show much, what did you
Correct?
think of Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin?
When we were talking about this on the phone, what, 2, 3 days ago, something like that?
Yeah.
I said that what I wanted was a Kingpin built similar to the Juggernaut from Deadpool 2. Because the Kingpin, in my mind, looks like he does in the Spider-Man cartoon. Which, shit, on there, he's bigger than frickin' Rhino, isn't he?
Yep.
I mean, he is a massive human being, and I don't know exactly what makes him massive like that. Like if he has some version of a Bane serum or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. After seeing the show, I don't think that they could have done a better job without using any special effects to show you exactly who and what the Kingpin is with him playing him. I
Excellent.
thought it
Bringing
was
in
fucking beautiful.
and if you like that, you should check out the Netflix series. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for everyone, but there is one scene in particular that I love. So,
Do you get what I'm saying by
oh
both of
yeah,
those points? Like I
oh
gotta jump to
absolutely.
the beginning a little bit here when they're sitting there having the conversation with who's that? Who's his gangster guy with the neck tattoo?
I always forget him. I didn't really like him that much.
Ruiz or something like that? I
Like
don't.
Ruiz, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's
Ruiz.
something like that. I don't remember. Somebody in the chat will know, and they will let us know. Anyway, when he's sitting there having a relatively calm conversation, you get what I'm saying? Like he's sitting there completely in control, and then you jump to where he's beating the ever living shit out of Hawkette. And the
Yeah,
only thing that saves her is the thing that is meant to save a Hawkette, and that is her usefulness with the bow. And she made a whole bunch of freaking shit explode, and it blew him back, and it still didn't fucking kill him.
and I also
What
wanted
the
to point
fuck
out.
is he made of?
Oh, he's just built like a tank. They show this a lot in the show.
No, I mean
And
like in the comic book, he's just a regular man. Like a regular man can't take explosions like this.
oh yeah, he's just normal. What he did was he's built up his tolerance to pain and worked out. He was once a fat kid that was bullied all the time but had massive inhuman strength, and all he did was lift weights and just fucking piled on muscle. So everyone thinks it's fat, but really it's muscle. They show him in a scene in the Daredevil Netflix where he's in prison and he lifts. And Vincent D'Onofrio really lifted this. The scene was not scripted or tampered in any way. He lifted fucking 300 pounds like it was nothing.
Huh.
And there's also a great scene. Uh, Daredevil is kind of gloating because he put Kingpin behind bars, and Kingpin said, "I'll be out of here soon." And so Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, who was in Spider-Man, by the way, he says a line where he goes, "That's okay. I'll go after Vanessa and see what she's got to hide, and she'll be joining you in the next cell over." This motherfucker was handcuffed with just the typical handcuffs, fucking rips the chain out, grabs Matt Murdock by the throat, and picks him straight up in the air by his fucking throat. And I watched it behind the scenes. This was not scripted. They did this scene like, 3 or 4 times after they'd done it. And Charlie Cox stated he's a very strong man, like in real life, because he lifted him straight up like he was fucking nothing. And so I think that shows how much commitment D'Onofrio had to the role because he's a really big guy in real life, but he's also kind of husky, not really built. But when he joined Daredevil, he put on like 100 pounds or so of solid muscle for the role, and you could see it. Like his fucking arms are massive in the show, fucking huge. There's so many scenes where he beats people to death in that show. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Netflix Daredevil. Season 1 through 3 are fucking fantastic. They do a better version of
How
Bullseye.
many episodes per season?
13, I
And they're
believe. Yeah,
all an
13.
hour?
They're all an hour, but it doesn't feel it. Like you'll burn through a season super fucking quickly. It's a great watch. The second half of season 2 is okay, but season 2, the first half,
Is Daredevil the first Marvel Netflix show?
yep.
And it has
So
the Kingpin from the MCU.
yeah, and I'm glad they acknowledged it. So that makes it canon. Everybody who was arguing with me about the Netflix shows, Go fuck yourself. They're canon. That was it proved in Swinging It Back Around, Hawkeye. They finally
Oh,
canonized.
what a great show! What a great show, man! What a great series finale. I freaking love damn near every minute of it, except for one thing.
Okay, so let's get to that because we've been blowing smoke up the show's ass for the end. What troubled you about this? What didn't quite hit? What was a gripe you would have with this episode?
So, let's do a little setup first. Would you agree with me that a Black Widow is supposed to be what they essentially lay out what a Black Widow is? Oh, I don't remember which movie it is, but I always picture it as what is it in Ocean's 12 when they're giving him all of the instructions of what Matt Damon needs to do to be uh memorable but not memorable and yada yada yada, or you gotta leave an impression but not be memorable or some shit like that.
Yep. Yeah,
Like a
that
Black
was
Widow is supposed to go under the radar. They're not supposed to be the one that sticks out in the room, even when they're as hot as the last two that we've seen. Fair?
Yep.
Why in the actual fuck did she go to this goddamn party with one of the most awesome hairdos I've ever seen? Like, I thought it was an awesome fucking hairdo. I was like, oh, that's bitchin'. But you're supposed to be a Black Widow assassin. Why are you making yourself stick out in the crowd? Because who the fuck isn't going to remember the person with a triple layer braided fucking mohawk?
I 100% agree, and that's where I think it was more of aesthetics over storytelling.
Oh, it
Which,
hurt. It hurt me so much. I was like,
yeah,
she didn't
because it
stick
does
out like
break the
this
character.
before. What the fuck?
And yes, Mega Jetty, to answer your question, I do think the events for No Way Home will set up certain things in Phase 4, but I think this sets up more stuff in the Sony Spider Verse because it's a thing. Venom made bank.
Spider Man.
And Janie Davis says, at Mr. Sod's Phantom Zone, that makes the Punisher MCU canon too. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, Janie Davis, because Punisher was in that season with Daredevil. And if they're canonizing Kingpin and Daredevil, I'm willing to bet that Punisher isn't too far away. I think you're going to see him in Deadpool. My whole thing with that is that was a mistake I noticed, and I gotta be honest, the fucking larpers or whatever, I didn't like them too. I think that was the stupid humor that I talk about all the time. Like,
Dude,
yeah,
like, who the fuck? Okay. An usher with usher uniforms or whatever the hell they're supposed to be. Like, yeah, they're working here. They might not work at the building all the time, but they're working here right now, so they must know the way in and out. Maybe listen to them. If I'm walking down to the street and I see three random fuck or four random people, my bad, four random people in goddamn costumes, I'll be like, what the fuck just let out? What con is this?
so we can't agree on one thing. There is a few things that you know.
Stupid choices that actually fucking you would think would affect something but aren't going to.
Yes, yeah. And that's right, critiquing something fairly, right? Because we're not saying, "Oh yeah, fucking 10, flawless." I even said in my Spider-Man review, remember I made that great point and I want to highlight it because I had people on the panel during Perp Show on the ropes with that. When I said I gave something a 10, like Spider Man No Way Home, I gave a 10. And I said, yes, there's flaws. We can nitpick them, and everybody's going to in an effort to try to find something to critique this film on. But it's not necessarily enough flaws to make the movie shitty. It's the good of what they created and the story makes the movie special. Just like with this show, the good and what they did and how they close out the story if you watch it from episodes 1 through 6, makes it feel complete. And that's what's important, right? How good is your story, and does the choices directly affect the enjoyment of the whole thing? Because me and you have lived through this Star Wars fuck up, right? And it really does matter if you drop the ball at any point of a trilogy or a show or whatever, right? You can have a 10 episode run, have like 8 or 9 fantastic episodes, and then fuck it up at the end and just destroy everything you set up for 8 fucking episodes.
No, episode 8 was trash. I could live with episode 7, but episode 7 in retrospect is not as good because you know what things are meant to mean in episode 7 after you see 8 and 9. Are you not talking about Star Wars anymore? I thought that was a Star Wars analogy.
It is, because we prove something, right? You could still have a middle of anything and have it ruin the ending and even the beginning of something just because of how shitty it is. Or you can have a perfect score all the way till the ending and then do something so egregious that it retroactively destroys everything you built. Game of
I mean,
Thrones.
thankfully, Hawkeye doesn't have that problem.
No, I don't think at all. I think it started strong and it finished strong. I
I
mean,
think
you
it
could.
started strong and it built the entire season. I think that of all of the at least MCU shows, it only got better as it went along, whereas all of the other ones you had, oh, well, this episode's not quite as good. Oh, this one's pretty good. Oh, that one's not quite as good. You had your ebbs and flows like that. This one seems like it just ramped up telling the story because it was essentially, and I think all of the MCU shows do this, they're introducing villains. They're not necessarily giving them origin stories like they're already established. They're just introducing them. Like Hawkeye introduces Kingpin. Loki introduces Kang.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to forget that.
Okay. Anyway, uh, what Falcon and Winter Soldier introduces U.S. Agent. I can't remember his name, but he's a villain, right?
Agent fucking Psychopath. I gotta say, the
Right,
one highlight
Agent
for me
Psychopath,
with that.
and it brings back Zemo, which I think that he's still going to be a villain. I don't think he's going to be a good guy.
No, no, and I fucking loved Zemo more.
But
Like,
then
I liked him.
WandaVision is the one that I'm not exactly sure about who the villain is that they're supposed to be introducing. Like, are they supposed to be turning Shield into a villain, or are they turning Wanda into a villain?
No, WandaVision directly introduces the multiverse of madness. That
No, I'm
is
saying all of the shows fit that same mold of introducing a villain. So, what villain is introduced in WandaVision? Trust me, there is one.
I'm gonna say it's gonna eventually lead to Mephisto, but that's just my guess.
I mean, they gave us Agatha Harkness. She's getting a TV show, isn't she?
Yeah, from what I hear. We'll
She's
see.
supposed to be a villain. I mean, she doesn't seem to be on the level of definitely not the last two. I feel like Kang the Conqueror and Kingpin are like some premium Marvel villains, whereas the other two, you're like, nah.
Planet Cubes Queen said, wouldn't that make Iron Fist to be canon? No,
Bingo. How could
Iron
it
Fist
not?
never happened. Wasn't
It's
even
in
a
the
show.
he's a diff. Fuck off.
At Pop Culture PB, can I contribute when we're talking about shows and movies from several years ago?
When are we gonna do? I have no show or movie to talk about from like how long ago?
Mega Jenny one says super chat. I was disappointed that Venom was in the movie but not part of the villains. We would have gotten a Sinister Six. Yeah, I could see the gripe with that. I think though
Still
it did.
undercounted. They weren't sinister.
I think it would have been better with different type of villains. We got a couple of jokes. Generation Production says, "At Pop Culture PB, ooh, you mean Star Wars?
No, I
LOL."
don't. That's hurtful. Oh, you mean 8 and 9? I wasn't. I mean, you can't be bored when you're sitting there constantly getting pissed off.
Mega Jitty One says to Zemo needs the pink sock mask. I agree. I agree. I get that. Mega J One doing a good source material joke there. Mega Jetty One also said Wanda needs to be trained in the mystic arts by Doctor Strange. No, she's already trained in the mystic arts. She just needs to fucking like eat a Kit Kat, as Squirrel would say.
Agatha all along is all I know about WandaVision.
And then follows that up with
He read a statement as a question. You dickhead. I thought it sounded weird, but whatever.
So okay, let's get to some of the emotional stuff in this episode.
Ah, you arrest your mom on Christmas?
Let's talk.
Is that what a hero does, Kate?
Okay, so and this is a true fact. Bitchy, watch this episode
We
with
do
me.
this emotional one first because the other one it kills me.
So, Bitchy, watch this with me. And I literally did this verbatim. I got up and said, "You fucking bitch." Did you get that feel? Because I love how they do this because it's like the thing parents do where they blame you when they fuck up or they make you look like the bad guy. I got so pissed by that statement because it's like, bitch, what does that have to do?
I did
Putting you
evil
down.
things for you.
Yeah, it's like, mom, you fucking tried to have a dude assassinated. You literally worked for the most evil man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Um, how am I supposed to like, dude? That statement. I don't know about you. That actually angered me in the episode. I got so fucking pissed. I gotta pause this and take a pee. This fucking angers me.
Well, then it definitely struck a chord, so I guess they got points for that.
um, I don't know. I feel like okay. So if we're talking about weak aspects of the show, she's a great actress,
Oh,
Vera Flemings, the
her
mother.
mom, the mom,
Yeah.
she's pretty
But
hot for an older lady.
yeah, she is. But I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the weakest part of this series was their relationship. I don't know. Did you get that? It didn't. It didn't really hit with me as much as the other relationships in the show.
I think the relationship gets explained quite well. I think that you were expecting something and were disappointed. I think beyond that, it is explained quite well how they've grown apart. What, at least in the last, the way that they made it sound, 3, 4 years?
Yeah, that
Because
the
it's not her first
explanation.
year of college.
The explanation isn't my problem. The emotional feelings behind it. You know how you're supposed to feel things. Okay, I'll give you an example. Clint and Kate, two opposite strangers, right? Right, but the basis for the show. But you feel by the time they get to the part where Clint is breaking down and telling her the realities of being a hero, I fucking felt that. You know what I mean? And maybe it's because I had more of a connection with him through the Avengers. So you feel this like really worn down kind of mentor uh telling Kate, this young and hopeful person, like, hey, being a superhero fucking sucks. Like, can't fucking hardly hear. My family always is missing me. You know, you get that feeling from their scenes, but it felt like
Yeah,
every time
take
Kate,
notes, Ryan Johnson, you fuck.
yeah, yeah. But then you get to Kate, right? And her mother. And that's supposed to be the strongest bond. And look, I know they're strained. That's implied. It's very well explained. Everything's well explained, but I don't feel it. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't have the same emotional connection. Like, I liked her arc, the mother, and I liked the misdirect. I thought it was very well handled. But that statement wound up pissing me off more, but it wasn't out of an emotional connection. I just thought it was a stupid fucking line to say.
I
I
mean, I am, I guess, more upset with the what seemed to be instant emotional connection after they found out that Jack wasn't a bad guy. They're like, oh, he's all of a sudden not creepy because, he wasn't the person who set up the fucking murder and the, murder for hire of Clint Barton.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. I had a connection even to him. I thought he was funny as fuck. And
No,
I kind of
no, he is funny as fuck. I thought we were talking about this child parental connection that you said you weren't feeling.
yeah, yeah, but same could go
But
for
then you're
him.
into
I
that
didn't feel
connection
their
between the two
connection
of them.
either.
They're like, oh, uh, I'm sorry this happened to you, Jack. Are you okay? Yep. Now we're best of friends.
But here's the thing. I understand what you're saying. I see
Fucking
that
better.
angle. I see that angle, but still I felt a better connection between those two than even Kate and her mother. I just didn't feel like they meshed very well.
They're
You know?
not meant to mesh well. That's the whole fucking point, guy. What are you not getting? That's what
No,
I'm saying is explained. They're not supposed to mesh at all.
no. I
One is a superhero, and the other one is a crime supervillain.
no, but what
What?
I'm saying is when you get to the point where there's the portrayal like at the ending, right? You should still even feel something even if there's a strained relationship if things are set
Yeah,
up
I
well.
felt like fucking laughing because she got her mom arrested. So you know what I did? I fucking laughed.
See, I got angry because it's like I just
Like,
wasn't
you're blaming the kid. Rah."
I felt more like their relationship just didn't do it for me. Out of all of the relationships and the different connections, I just felt like that was the weakest in the show because I didn't okay, what I'm trying to say is there wasn't enough scenes where I felt like there was this tragic thing where she cares until it's told to us when she's talking
Okay,
to
tragic
Kingpin
thing.
that she cares. But I didn't get that sense even when
That's
she was
fine.
talking with her and throughout all the other episodes when they had the single one-on-ones. I felt like that was the weakest one. I didn't
Okay,
feel
go back,
I'll go back and watch the whole thing.
binge the
I
season
don't
all
feel
at once, and you tell me if that fucking scene don't feel goddamn different, guy.
um,
Come on,
JD
man.
Davis, JD Davis says at Mr. Zod's Phantom Zone. I know what you mean. Family conflict should still feel like family. Exactly. JD gets it. It didn't feel like they were actually family, is what I'm saying. You could do disconnected storyline. How many shows have we seen with
7.
where there's a bond that's like a perfect example. I got a good one for one
I
for
have
you.
never seen any TV shows
No,
with
no, I
Bond.
got one. I got one. We
You
both watch
just you stepped all over my James Bond joke.
it. Okay. Yellowstone, right? Even
Ooh.
okay, now you see where I'm going with this.
No, I
Casey.
don't.
Casey, right? Even though he's not connected to Kevin Costner at that point in the first season, right? They're arguing. Clearly, they don't get along. I still felt the bond because of how the actors acted it out. It still felt like, even though you were meant to see the relationship is strained and that clearly Casey doesn't get along with his father, Kevin Costner doesn't see eye to eye with the way his son sees things, you still felt that they were a fucking family. With this show, I think they did a terrible job conveying that even though they're estranged and she hasn't been in the house, that there's still something there. I didn't quite feel it the same.
Dude,
And
like
maybe
they
that's
were
emotional connection.
estranged, and then she found out that her mother was the antithesis of what she believed her to be.
But here's the thing, though, they don't play that out because she doesn't even jump
You
to the
mean they
mother
don't play it out?
until the last episode. She didn't even put her in the equation, right? She was going after the boyfriend,
Yeah,
and
because
I get
she
it on
didn't
her.
know, because she had, you're right, she had her arrow targeted in the wrong spot. And then she got it corrected because she got some more information, like a super spy does. Way to go, Kate. Thank you for arresting that bitch.
No, I mean, that scene worked for me, and I was angry in the
Okay.
sense, like, arrest her, but what I'm saying is
No, you didn't get
compared
the emotional feel. You didn't get the emotional feel. I want to move on
yeah,
to the bigger emotional fucking scene. Did you
go
get
ahead.
did you get the feel when Yelena was, I guess, beating the crap out of Clint Barton because it really seemed like he was like, I'm not fighting you.
Fuck yeah. That was actually
Okay.
the best emotional connection for me.
Now, what I would like to explain about that scene, which makes it, at least from my perspective, more painful, is as she's essentially trash talking and calling him a liar, where he didn't tell a single fucking lie in any of the conversations that the two of them had. Go ahead and read that, and I'll get back to my point.
At Mr. Zod's Phantom Zone, maybe the mother is supposed to be a sociopath and only raised a child for some manipulative reason. That would actually work for them showing no bond. I don't know. I'll take PV's advice and rewatch it and see if I get a different angle. But just for my first watch through, I didn't get the same kind of connection that apparently PV did. But continue. So, yeah, Elena and Clay. I thought that was handled.
She's, yeah, she's beaten the ever living crap out of them. So while they're each having a, what I would call, memory flood, right? Because they're both talking about Natasha from their own perspective. What types of things do you think are running through Yelena's head? I would assume that she's thinking back to when they lived and worked together and all of the wonderful times. Whereas Clint Barton is, on top of being literally beat the crap out of, is being emotionally beat the crap out of because he's picturing Natasha literally sacrificing herself for him. Because let's not fucking placate this. She did not do it to save half of the fucking world. She did it for him.
Oh, and Jenny Godden, welcome. And I'm sorry. I did not mean to ignore you.
What's up, Jenny?
I'm actually glad you're here, Jenny. I heard a rumor you had been moving and doing stuff like that, so I'm glad to see you
Moving
actually
and
in it.
grooving.
So, I got more passion from Yelena and Hawkeye and an emotional connection from them than the mother and Kate.
Yes,
Exactly.
so did I.
Yeah, that scene.
Think of the dichotomy that each character is going through. She's thinking of all of these warm memories, like something that would make you cry tears of joy, whereas he is thinking of all of this. Well, I shouldn't say all of this. Essentially, this one thing that happened to him that makes him cry tears of sadness.
Yeah, and I think let me just pose this while we're
Like,
getting
that's
into that.
rough.
Let me pose this while we're getting into that discussion too. Uh, Also, as well, it works on two levels of showing the character's headspace, right? Clint has been in a downward shame spiral, whereas Yelena, right, is the opposite. Like you said, the dichotomy. He is thinking of all of the sad stuff, and she is thinking of the happy stuff. I actually think it works on both levels because it also shows which path they chose as far as remembering her, right? And it's not to say either way is wrong, but it really does show how people choose to grieve, which way they go. I mean, she's still angry. She still wants somebody to pay for that, but she's more happier and Clint's more miserable. And I think it works on that level too.
I, it does. Supplemental point. I love the fact that Kate is the replacement for Natasha as far as being that person in his life.
Yeah, I and okay, so here's my thing. I think the thing that makes the show work the most is the instant, and this doesn't often happen, PB. It's kind of like me and you. The instant chemistry between the two leads. That's what
Oh, for
sells.
sure.
Like
Absolutely.
if you put it to our chemistry that we have here in the Phantom Zone and Late Night Talks, right?
Yeah, that's some quality alchemy right there, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, you got the asshole cynic and the less asshole cynic, and we
And you
both
get to
call each
decide
other
which is which, depending on what the fuck we're talking about.
out. Yeah, yeah. And you know what I always found funny, just getting off of Hawkeye for a second. You know what I always found funny is when people accused us in the fandom zone of being fucking an echo chamber. And I go, what episode did
Echo
you watch?
chamber. No fucking shit, man. Like, okay, maybe they watched this current episode where we're talking about Hawkeye because we've only really disagreed about the mother daughter connection. And we've been going for hour 16 minutes. And yeah, we were just bullshitting at the beginning. So that's 55 minutes or so, almost an hour of agreeing for the most part about the opinions and perspectives that we're giving.
Yeah, I mean, I find it
But not
hilarious.
always. You're going to, when something is, and just looking at the numbers as far as reviews and stuff like that, when something is as universally liked as Hawkeye is, you're going to have a lot of people agreeing on stuff, or else it wouldn't be universally liked. Why do you think that? For a year we started doing this show, and for a year it's like, how do we keep finding these people that love The Last Jedi? And you're like, well, half the people like it. I was like, half the people are insane. That's fine, I can live with that.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the interesting thing too. And that's why I made my video about Mary After Christmas to talk about critiquing, right? Because of all the people in the world, Geekicidal Tendencies actually left a comment on my talk about the Matrix, and he absolutely loved it. And with all of the shit that was in the movie, and with the way I've agreed on him, and he's come in as in the chat and agreed with most of what he said, he was the last person I would have thought who would have liked the movie like The Matrix was, but he did, and went as far as wanting to debate about it. So it's really interesting to see things that grab people, certain things, right? And that comes to what is opinion and what is fact proven by what you're seeing, right? And cinema and TV is really fucking hard to review because what 90% of it can be subjective. It could just come down to what your personal preference is.
No,
Am I right?
I feel the hardest part of reviewing any type of moving picture, whether it's movie, TV, video game, anything like that, is making it relative to everything else. Like, you give something an 8, you give something else an 8. Not all 8s are built equally. Like, this one got to this point because it had, most of the episodes sucked, but it had the best scene that I saw of any TV fucking show all goddamn season. So it got an 8. Like, yeah, it can have bad fucking moments, that don't make it a bad fucking episode.
Or for
I
that
feel like
matter, a
that's
bad
tough.
show.
Right. But the relative comparison where they go, well, how come you gave that a 7 and you're only giving this an 8? And I was like, well, fucking A, man. Like, they're not, yeah, it's a number. But holy fucking shit, not everything's weighted the same.
Well, that's just like with me and my Black Panther argument, right? Ha! I love how I can swing things back to that.
Fucking
People say you fucking rail on this movie all the time. How can you give it a 7, right? Well, because from a technical and story aspect, it's just fine. It's got all the beats. The story does make sense, right? It has a beginning, middle, and end. Technically, the only thing they really fucked up on, and I will defend this and die on this hill, are those fucking rhinos. But the rest of the movie is pretty competently shot, decent enough CGI. I just don't like the way the characters went, the story outcome and all that, and Michael B. Jordan for life. But that's my own personal gripes. So what I'm saying by this rating is I'm taking my personal gripes out of my rating and saying and acknowledging, yes, it's a good movie. It's an above average movie because average for me is 5. It's above average, but it's not an equal 7 like you said. Like I could give something a 7 and still like it more than fucking Black Panther. It's just that's where structurally I think it deserves to be. Because when you get into, at least for my system, and I don't know if it works the same for you, when you get into an 8, 9, or 10, right?
nobody's system works like yours.
Exactly. But just my thought. When you get into movies that are 8, 9, or 10, right? You are saying these are great films, right? They're bordering on being put in with movies like Alien and stuff like that, like heavy hitters. And you've got to have a good reason to justify putting such a high score. And I think that's where a lot of mainstream critics are. You want to hear something I heard? This is fucking amazing. And I just heard this today. I was listening to a YouTuber and then they were playing a clip. And this is from the fucking media, right? They have now determined most things will fall with video games. This is not across the map, but they determine most things will fall into a 7. Why? Why does everything it's like giving a fucking participation trophy. Why does
Like
everything
7
get
is average.
out of 10? So you're telling me every fucking shit game has an equal opportunity to get a 7. But but wait, no.
Dude, that's
It's
like no, it sounds like, well, we don't want to, be shaming people into buying these 6s and 7s. Like, people are only going to buy the 8s, 9s, and 10s. And I was like, first of all, lots of people buy fucking 2s. You shitting me? It happens all the fucking time. Why wouldn't they buy a 6 or 7? How about you just give them a goddamn honest opinion? Keep 5 right in the middle. Like, perfectly fucking average if you're going 1 to fucking 10.
yeah, and I mean,
And people
no,
buy
go ahead.
by the genre. They don't typically buy by the rating.
Yeah, yeah, that's the weird thing to me about this whole system too, is like 5 doesn't necessarily mean bad. 5 is average. 5 is in the
Average.
middle. There's a lot of things that is in the middle, and that's not necessarily a bad thing if you enjoy it. Why the fuck is there a big stigma like, oh, if I go below a 7 average or a higher score, it's
I
stating
mean,
it's bad? No.
here's a simple question for maybe not everybody will be able to answer it, but a fair number of people will. Anybody that drives a car, has a car, and puts wiper blades on their car, do you always get the most expensive wiper blades when you go to put new blades on? Like, you go to the store, you go to the blade section, you know what length you need because you're smart and you looked it up ahead of time. And you go, okay, I want to buy the most expensive one. I don't give a fuck what it is. I want the most expensive one. No, you probably get something that's probably average, and you enjoy the fuck out of them wiper blades, don't you? They wick the water away real good. Not a problem. So don't be afraid of average, people. Average is okay.
Yeah, yeah, there's such a fucking high standard. It's like not every movie's got to be $1 billion. Not everything's got to make this gross amount. If it makes back its budget and a fair amount of people enjoyed it, there's nothing wrong with being that guy in the middle, you know? Planet Q Squeeze says, question, what is up with the watch that he gave his wife?
Don't know.
I
Not sure yet.
don't. Oh, Agent 19. It's a character from the source material.
She's
Basic.
Agent 19.
Hmm. She was a pretty well-known Shield agent. That's the gist of
Oh,
that.
she's pretty. I mean, she's no Aunt May, but she's pretty.
Jenny Goddard says, uh, "Oh no, that's not the one I meant."
Aunt May is fucking hot as a corpse. What?
JD Davis says at Mr. Zod's Phantom Zone. It's a positive bias. It occurs when you know that people you are grading will see your name attached onto the grade. Yeah, I
I don't
agree.
know what a
It is.
positive, but what?
Uh, Giving something a positive rating because your name is attached onto it,
Oh, fuck
perfect,
that bullshit.
like IGN, for instance, right? They
Fuck you,
want that all.
IGN. God damn.
They want that all access pass.
I need a
So
hug. Is that what that
yeah,
said?
yep.
Let's give out some virtual hugs. Sending a virtual hug to you, and you, and you, and you. So, whatever four people in the chat needed those virtual hugs, you are welcome.
And Planet
Feel the warmth. Like the
Planet Keith,
stream, save the dream.
no, save the villain. Look. I love Rob, but Rob's got enough love. Okay, let's throw the villain some love.
Villain doesn't rhyme.
God damn it, Rob, and your great
It's
stuff.
not a it's not a TM phrase.
So yeah, we talked about the highlights of the show. What else have we
Dude,
missed about?
I told you about my low light. It was that fucking hairdo. Because you're supposed to be a Black Widow.
Yeah, for me,
Like,
I'd have to.
I couldn't figure out any other massive. I mean, I was disappointed that we didn't see whether or not the Kingpin gets shot at the end, which makes a person think that he almost certainly did not get shot. And she like
I,
shot his ear off or something like that, or shot him in the hand, or I don't freaking know. I mean, I could tell you some stuff that I'm disappointed in, but if it's not in the episode, you can't like downgrade the episode because you just didn't happen to get something that you want. Like, that's why The Last Jedi is trash, because it's actively the opposite of what you want. You're not like, oh, that's an interesting way to go. You're like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all.
coming back and thinking about the Last Jedi, getting on your other favorite topic, Star Wars.
Motherfucking goddamn Last Jedi.
you know, if you don't put Star Wars on the label of that movie, um,
What's it do? Like
structurally,
30 bucks?
structurally, visually, the way it's shot, are not all bad
You
things.
think
Like
it would have looked that nice if he wouldn't have had Lucasfilm to put the money behind it?
I've seen other Ryan Johnson films. They are very competently shot. They have good music. They have
No, but I'm talking about the fact that it's a sci-fi movie. You need
so
somebody
was
to do
Looper.
those type. I guess I never saw Looper. I don't think Looper's the same style of sci-fi movie, but okay. People like pop in, like all that is pausing the camera, moving a person in, and starting the camera again. You can do that,
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying though is that you also had Bruce Willis,
dude. Crystal Fox.
Bruce Willis will
What
punch a
about
person.
Bruce Willis?
He was in that movie Looper with
No, I'm
Gordon
talking
Levy.
about the way that. Oh my god. Yeah, and all they do is they add some physical effects to his face to make him look older or younger. I know that. I'm talking about all of the fucking CGI. That is some high priced shit that goes into Star Wars to make that entire fucking salt planet battle look spectacular. Not gonna say it doesn't look spectacular. It's dumb as fuck, but it looks cool.
I do like what I do like about if there's one thing I
Bless
like
you.
about thank you. It's just fucking cold. If there's one thing I do like about Ryan Johnson was like
God damn.
him doing the independent film thing, but the mistake of Star Wars with hiring him is you hired a man who is an independent film thinker on a high budget franchise and then said do what the fuck you want to do. And the more I think about it, do you really blame at that point the filmmaker when you give them free reign, or do you blame the people at
I
the very
blame the people at the very top because they didn't have, because you don't need the same director as the MCU showed. But what's the MCU have?
fucking a vision? They have direction.
Kevin fucking Feige.
Yeah, they have a
One person telling a story, telling somebody, this is what has to happen in your movie. Do you know that? Like, there are certain things that happen. Like, it might only be you need to have this post credit scene. That's possible. But there are other things where he's like, no, you absolutely have to do this because it's got to set up this next one. Especially when it comes to, I don't know, Avenger films.
oh, by the way, thank you, Jenny got it. She
You
says
are welcome. Zod, you make the list of people I'll answer. Doesn't matter. I'm moving. I'll answer your messages too.
thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it because
So
I'm
you're
a
on the short bus of people.
I mean, hey, it's a fun bus. If you're not on the short bus, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm sitting at home in the woods, safe from the Omicron. Wop, 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 wop.
uh Planet Qskate says from at Jenny Goddins for old time's sake, sandbar sharks and lemon sharks are the two smallest sharks that looks like sharks. There are sharks smaller that look like old fish. Fuck
Not going
sharks.
in the ocean.
Yeah, yeah, fuck sharks. Okay.
Sharks kill people in the. You know where sharks don't kill people? On the land.
Except for fucking sci-fi manipulating everything and making fucking land sharks. You can't make that shit up. That's literally the title of the movie. Fucking land sharks. And I looked at it 12 at night. You know how you get
Well, then
really
you
lit
gotta. Then we gotta switch to Jetsons living.
at you know how you get some of those shitty movies and it's late at night and you're like, I'm not in the mood to have to think about something,
Have
so
to
I'm gonna
think
put
at
on
all.
I'm like, I'm gonna put on a movie where
Murder,
my
murder the stupid people, please.
yeah, one of those films. And so I go to sci-fi because they're the best place to find really shitty films that I don't care about. Can have in the
Fact.
background. And I said, "Fucking land sharks" was the first thing that popped up. And I said, "No, thank you. I
Feel
don't
like I
need."
have to check this land sharks out now.
I was like,
You've
"No."
sold it as the biggest fucking turd ever, so I'll be like, ooh, how big of a turd? Oh my God. It's been a while since you glitched, guy, but nobody hears you at all. And I thought for sure you'd have a retort back to that. I mean, I'm almost certain that you said something. Always coming back into focus.
Oh, damn it. I was like, oh no, it finally caught up with me.
Oh, fuck. Yo, we did wait. That's a different one. Zod and PB on my short list of people I will answer no matter what is a crazy party. This is fun. Thank you. I mean, I don't know how much longer we're going to be talking about it because I don't. I mean, we could talk about Hawkeye for a Game of Thorns amount of time,
Oh yeah.
but then I'd run the risk of falling asleep on the stream, which is unkosher.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm kind of wrapping up the review and just kind of winding down talking about other stuff. So
Like that emotional scene was also my favorite scene. The fight between Yelena and Clint. I was like, holy fuck, man, it's killing me.
yeah, I'd have to say my favorite emotional scene
She looked sorry.
was that one actually. We both agree.
No, like my favorite scene from the episode, not just like emotional one. Like if you count all of them, action, emotion, comedy, all of them, that was my favorite scene. Although Hawkette looked pretty fucking hot in that black dress.
Yes, I agree. I'd have to
Woo!
say I broke it into emotional scene because my favorite scene, and this is 100% bias, is Kingpin and that
What
whole
the
entire
fight?
fight.
Oh man, that was I it's rare when you see the hero get thoroughly beat the way that she did, and then I guess she probably thought that she killed him. She's like, I blew him up with a goddamn arrow, and then he walked away.
I'd have to say that honestly, anybody who says that Kate Bishop is an overpowered superhero has not been watching the show.
They didn't watch this show at all, not at all. Like, yeah, she's supposed to be making these shots with the arrows, people. What they call her the best archer in the world.
Uh, and I honestly think that this was a really good episode. I really liked it. So
It might be the best episode out of all of the episodes from all of the MCU shows.
yeah,
It
yeah.
it 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 immediately, without a rewatch, like just going through it one time because I've rewatched a substantial number of the shows that have already been on, but without a rewatch of this one, it immediately jumps into the top five, if not the top three, possibly the top one.
So let me kind of get an article here. I only found one.
What? With an article?
Yeah, because this pertains to Hawkeye. And I kind of want to show you what people might be pulling for when they talk about the low ratings. And this is brought to us from Screen Geek, who says, and this is not the final, okay? This is the premiere. It says the Hawkeye premiere had the lowest rating on Disney Plus Marvel series. And this is from December 2nd. So this isn't an old article.
December 2nd?
Yes. I mean it's old as far as new
So
news,
this
but
no, this one's talking about the first episode of the season.
um I'm thinking so, and I'm gonna see if they mention anything
Well, if
about
it
the
says fucking premiere, that's not the last episode of the season. That's the first one.
Yeah, so I want to see if they get into the ratings later. They said the new Disney Plus Hawkeye received nearly universal acclaim since its release on the streaming platform. With so much hype for the series, it seems that like the show is a clear winner for Marvel Disney. However, that might not be the case. In fact, it's just been revealed that the Hawkeye premiere was actually the lowest rating of any Disney Plus Marvel series to date. This is quite uh, surprising considering how well fans have been responding to the series. The low rating it was revealed by Deadline, who is so fucking reliable, who were able to note that the first episode had 1.5 million during the Wednesday to Sunday period when compared to the premiere of Loki by way of Samba TV rating, which measures 3 million US households. Loki actually managed to gain the attention of 2.5 million viewers during its debut. This means Hawkeye dropped 40% when compared to its predecessor, Loki. The drop continued in the second episode, in which it lost about 200,000 viewers from the first episode. This drop is quite a drop considering both episodes released at the same time. This means that the entire number of people who watched the first and then immediately decided not to watch the second. Of course, Hawkeye was also released just before Thanksgiving, so it's possible the major holiday had something to do with lower ratings. In any case,
Pause for just a moment. I and I would assume maybe hundreds of thousands of people, at least hundreds of thousands. I mean, it could be millions, it could be billions, but at least hundreds of thousands of people. We have lives. You can't always watch two episodes in a row.
yeah,
Like, I wasn't awake when the episode released. And then by the time that I got to watch the episode, I didn't have time to watch the second one right away. So I'm part of that fucking number that they're citing. And I'm sitting here praising the fucking show like crazy. More than I praised any of the other three. And I like all four. Obviously, some are better than others.
and it says in any case, this continued to receive great critical reception as time uh, has passed. With that in mind, it looks like the series still can be considered a big success for the streaming platform. We'll just have to see what happens in subsequent episodes are released on Disney Plus. And besides that, I don't have anything for new episodes. So my question is, where are these it bombed figures coming
For the rest of the season?
for the rest of the season? I'm gonna look it up and see if there's an up to date thing because I don't see on the last episode. I don't see where this big drop off happened besides the beginning.
Like, you release two episodes right away. You're probably not going to get a viewer increase in the second episode immediately. Not in something like that. I mean, you just turned people turning it on and going, oh, a 45-minute episode. So they sit down, they watch it, and they go, oh, there's two of them. They're like, I don't have an hour and a half. Like, I didn't plan on watching a movie. I planned on watching a TV show.
Yeah, and that's the thing that boggles me because there's not a really good metric that they rate these on to see how exactly it's doing. See, it's all
No,
about the
I
premiere.
do like the metric of comparing it to Loki. That's a decent metric, but that doesn't say anything about the quality of the show, especially being the first episode. It has more to do with the character. Like, Loki is a higher profile character than Hawkeye. That's just a fact. I think you went robot again, guy, because I don't hear nothing.
No, I was deep in thought. Yeah,
Oh
there's
my god. You're playing a game already? We're not even done yet.
You know, I don't see any numbers to support anything past the first episodes.
That's
So my
because I
question,
wonder if their entire fucking narrative fell apart.
yeah, it's like, so if we're going by that metric, what any premiere could do terrible and pick up by the middle of the season. Like, I don't understand the metric that people are judging this on when there's no final numbers. Like,
Yeah,
it,
especially at this point, you know that they have the number. If they have those numbers, they have all the numbers.
like, yeah, they didn't come out and do a big deal like they did for Star Wars, but Luke Skywalker was always going to get big numbers, and they were always going to fucking tote that one.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
I mean, I'm failing to see where the metric of comparison is. And this swings it back around to our first point we started the night off with, and the show in general. It's like, when reviewing stuff, we should be, hey, uh, Senate. We know it's a Senate.
What's up, Senate? You got here at a bad time. Well, I mean, not a bad time. I say bad time because we're getting close to the end of the stream.
But here's my whole thing. Judging an episode off the first two episodes is fucking stupid. And these people who are doing critiques, they really need to stop critiquing stuff if it's just going to be out of, I hate Marvel, I hate Disney. It's just failing. Like, if you have the
If
numbers to
making
support
millions
that,
of dollars and having glowing reviews is failing, I need to start failing.
I know that's fucking failing up if I've ever fucking seen it. Like,
Straight the fuck up.
so I guess this is kind of our unbiased overview and just a general talk about how fucking, you know,
Awesome.
awesome everything is, and how people
Q,
need to
Q
put
said
aside
it
the numbers.
earlier. She said Hawkeye was, at least episode 6, fucking awesome. I'm going to extend that to the entire series. I love pretty much every minute of it.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, you know, I think we should have integrity when we're doing these things. We shouldn't just praise something because we like it, and on the other spectrum, you shouldn't just discredit something because you don't like it. There should be some actual facts and fucking evidence to back up your claim. If not, then, you know, people do see through that. It's like, okay, you hate this, but from the sounds of it, it's just because of this company. And look, this company does shitty stuff we can point out all day. Disney as a company is morally bankrupt, but that does not mean that they are incapable of providing us with entertainment. It just means they're a fucking corporation like any other fucking corporation. There is good, there is bad. You can have a space where these things exist. You know, I think we should take it by case basis. If we are fucking claiming to be reviewers and giving you guys a accurate account of a show and not our perceived bias and fucking uh, you know, our own inherent bias and speculation about something, if we're just talking about a show with facts, then we should rate with facts and hard evidence, one way or the other. That's my fucking takeaway for the night. What do you got to add to that?
Um, I want to say special shout out to whoever the two stunt people were that jumped out of that building and ran down the side. That was super fucking cool.
Yeah, yeah. Great episode. I liked it. one thing we didn't do before we get up out of here is what is our rating? We'll do this episode and then we'll do the series. So what would you rate?
Man, like 9.5. I told you my only major gripe was the hair.
For me, I'm gonna give it an 8. And the reason why I'm doing an 8 is because I am really salty about the Kingpin thing, and if I confirm that he is alive, I will backtrack to a 9.
Oh, you're salty that it's meant to seem like he's killed and they've, completed their task.
Yeah, and by fucking Echo, I get it. I get it. And that's part of her arc. I get the whole setup and everything, but it just doesn't feel like she deserves it. I would have liked to see the scene they were going to do with Daredevil. And now that I know it exists, it does inherently affect my rating because it's like I would have liked to see what actually happened.
I have a question. What comic is Kingpin introduced in? Who is his superhero that he's meant to fight against?
Ooh, that's a tough one because you could go with two of them, either Spider-Man or Daredevil. I can't exactly remember which one is first. I really want to lean towards Spider-Man, but I'm thinking Daredevil is the one he directly interacted with, which everything I've seen. It could go either way, but
That was the last question that I had about it because I was wondering why it was introduced. So it'll be interesting in season 2 how they intertwine characters that are in and about the same cities.
And I think Senate hits it perfect on the head. No one deserves to take out Kingpin except for Daredevil or Spider-Man. But there is one thing, and this is from the Netflix show, and you can rewatch this and see this quote. There is one thing he says which kind of didn't drop the rating lower for me. There's a quote in Marvel's Daredevil where he says that when he dies, he's going to be killed by a nobody because he started as a nobody. So if I take that quote into mind, that's why I gave it an 8 instead of like me being super fucking salty because I'm like, it is a neat callback if you've seen the Daredevil series and you kind of understand why they would make a person really low level who has nothing to do entirely with the story take him out. That would kind of make sense. But I mean,
I want Alistair Smythe.
okay, so you give it a 9, I give it an 8. Still very high marks. Still
8.5 it is, motherfuckers. Go watch this show.
and also too, what is your series rating?
Ooh, series rating. I mean, that I probably end up going with a. I could probably go with an 8 because I'm pretty. There can't be an episode on my list that's below a 7. So you round it all off. It's got to be a 8 out of 10 because there's some stuff here and there where I was like, oh come on, but the use and timing, like I feel like in this TV show, especially or more so than the rest of them, even more so than Loki, which did it very well. They have the timing of the comedy down. Like, they let you have an emotional moment. Like, you have the whole fucking scene where Yelena's beating the hell out of Clint. There are no jokes made during that scene. There are no jokes made at the end of the scene. And then we just move on to the next scene. Like, nobody brings you out of that moment inside of the scene.
I can't believe this. I'm gonna actually go a little bit higher than you, and I
Holy
agree.
fuck.
I agree with
How
Planet
can
Kids
you
too.
go higher than me?
I give it.
How can you give the finale an 8? So every other episode's a 9, and the finale's a letdown.
Yeah, because of the like I said, the thing with Kingpin
Missed
and the
expectations. You're such a dick.
and the connection with the mother. And now that may change um if I go back through, but most of the
Yeah,
episodes
but
were
your
nice.
rating won't go up like 9,9,9,9,8. It's still going to average out to a 9. And
Yeah, I
if you up that 8 to a 9, it's still going to average out to a 9. So your series rating will not change.
no, no. I would rate this a 9. And why I give this higher than anywhere else and just above WandaVision, because I'm probably one of the few people who consider all of WandaVision a solid 8. Um, I would rate this my highest, and just a real um template is because 90% of the humor hit for me. Um, I thought that everything was done with a perfect flow. This series felt like these shows finally found a rhythm. Like every other show felt like testing. This felt like a solid baseline that they can use for their other shows. You know what I mean? Like Loki was up and down. WandaVision for most people is up or down. Uh Falcon and the Winter Soldiers very melancholy, kind of dead center. And then What If, fuck that show. Um but yeah, you know how I feel about that.
I
And they
have a
fucking
hard time, like, certain specific things need to happen in the future of the movies for me to believe that What If is actually canon. Like, canon means you have bearing on the universe. That's what it means to me. I
yeah,
feel
and
like that is the simplest explanation, especially when you talk about all kinds of shit out there where you're like, well, I think, okay, so MCU, Spider Man spoilers, people, Spider Man spoilers, the MCU, all the Spider Mans have bearing on the MCU, like they're all MCU adjacent because they come and visit, right?
yeah.
So they're all Venom too. He was there talking to that bartender, and then he was gone. Like easy come, easy go. It's sad, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, for me, the thing that dragged down WandaVision was that fucking ending. But they said they cut a lot of shit um, in WandaVision too. So I'd be curious to see how that would change that final for me as well. But, based on what we got, for me, Hawkeye gets a higher score because it felt like a show that didn't have a lot of ups and downs. Like all these people who say the first two episodes were boring or whatever, I'm sorry that you don't like developing characters and story. I'm sorry that you ask for this stuff, but when they give it to you, you call it boring, and then you wonder why people don't fucking develop characters in these shows because people act like
They're
idiot
just like
drones.
throw him in the action.
Yep, yep, they just do
Just
all the action.
give Ash all the Pokemon and just start him at Gym 8. It'll be fine. People will get it. What?
Yeah, and it's like it's the same reason why Spider-Man Homecoming was or No Way Home was so high for me is because it found through two movies. The third movie felt like it found the footing and the balance and the structure much better than the predecessors did. And I'm really big on that. Like the story doesn't feel like it gets to a point where it completely takes me out. The only thing, like
Ooh.
I said, that really dragged down for me was the fucking Russian dudes. I did not find their humor funny.
Do you know what I'm really big on?
What?
Wrapping this stream up so I can go watch Hawkeye.
All right, so that you could go watch Hawkeye and I can go and fucking crash my computer again playing Cyberpunk. Thanks you everybody for watching our Christmas special.
Yes, the Christmas special. And I have a line to end on, so I'll let you get all your bullshit ahead of time. I'm gonna do a show tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about stuff.
Yeah, so definitely go and check out the show tomorrow. Will I be there? Will I not be there? You have to tune in
We'll see.
to find out. Anyways, yeah, but I will be making more videos this for the new year. There's a lot of things I want to talk about that I've been aggravated with other channels, and things that I feel like certain individuals perpetuate that make everybody look bad. Killy Chow, what the fuck? There's no Go Cowboys in this fucking stream. Are you crazy?
Fuck the
The rest of them
Cowboys.
is. I don't mind, but yeah, what up, Kelly Chow? Good to see you. Anyways, what I would like to say is, come check me out this new year. I'm gonna have a lot of new shit on here. Maybe get more structure. Who knows? It's the Phantom Zone and all that good shit. So, Mr. Pop Culture PB, what are we gonna end this best Christmas stream across all of the interweb on?
I would like to remind everybody that the reason for the season is Hawkeye. Thank you, everybody, and have a Merry Christmas.